Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be speaking on a certain situation that a communist country, a tactic that they would actually commonly use, uh, its own actual citizens to uh, conduct uh, espionage and stealing of actual technology from other countries. And today specifically, it'll be China and a businessman who actually tried to buy a few rafts that were actually designed for special forces. And this particular actual draft boat is actually very, very high quality and very, very sensitive on the technology side. But let's just not forget that China is always going to be a threat. Is always going to actually be something to actually look for. In for example, these past couple of days, they're hacking of the actual Microsoft. You know, and they actually portrayed it to four individuals, but them for individuals. I mean, you're working for the government in China. Doesn't matter which kind of avenue you want to take. At the end of the day, they control the majority of the actual businesses, especially the startup ones, and hardly anything negative will come out of there. Uh, Nearly, nothing rarely appears on public record. And when you have when you're in the actual spy game, you have to actually have cells throughout the world, and this particular businessman, 51-year-old, uh, came off as a some kind of business owner of a maritime manufacturing company in China, but technically he wanted to be uh, supposedly based out of Hong Kong. I guess that the export it would be much easier to go that avenue, and he actually contacted his one of his actual some type of actual employee in the U.S. to look into acquiring these actual rafts that no other military except for special forces within the NATO community actually use. These actual vessels, rafts, I should say, can be you know flown off of actual back of a cargo military plane or even a submarine, and the actual the contact in the actual U.S. That employee went about to contact the company in out of Florida, and the company out of Florida told them, it probably for your company, it'd probably be better if you were to uh, just buy some gasoline, wraps, and they're going to be much much cheaper. And when this actual uh, person inquiring insisted on it being that particular military grade raft, it rose a red flag for him. And, and from that point on, he contacted, the U.S. authorities, and they pursued to actually help this businessman out, and uh, the biggest thing for these actual rafts was the actual engine. And they want to order seven of them. And the the engine was such a great secret because of the fact that this engine can be ran with regular gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. Now, there are machines that can actually uh, conduct very, very good with different type of fuels. I happened to actually witness it one time when I think it was Jay's. I forget the name of the actual uh, aviation fuel, but it was like J something. I forget what the acronyms were, but we put it in our actual our vehicle, and the only thing that needed to be changed out was the actual filter. It had to be a new filter with that fuel, and that thing fired up like you wouldn't believe it. Actually ran good off of actual aviation fuel. So these two individuals, the actual businessman and the actual contact here in the states, they were charged with actually lying in an application to export maritime equipment out of the U.S. and they were supposedly based out of Hong Kong, and that fell apart as soon as the government started actually looking into these actual uh, fictitious business as of actually going to mainland China, and eventually all these reps were going to mainland China, and the actual businessman, he admitted that he was actually going to reverse engineer these actual engines so he can make his own version and sell it to the Chinese military. That's what he said. We all know that he wasn't selling anything. They were going to get that reverse engineering data, but it's all in one. I mean, it's all in one. It's all controlled by the government. So, I mean, he was the actual uh, person showing the face, and he got 3.5 years for this actual crime, um, along with his actual contact in the U.S. here. And so, when this type of stuff actually tries to be conducted, it was smart for the actual. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was not his first rodeo. The actual businessman out of Florida, just to sell anybody any kind of high technology like that. But it's pretty unique in itself. That engine. And I'm glad that they were actually protected this actual company's uh, copyrights. I mean, all that patent stuff because we got to stay ahead of the game. And other companies are going to try to actual countries, as I say, going to try to take in and move in to your actual your sensitive equipment. And and if you ever read or heard different types of it's basically the communist countries, they try to buy infrared systems or night vision systems. It's not because they don't have the technology. It's not because they don't have the actual know-how how to conduct it. It's because they just want to actually you know open them up and see exactly how they're actually being manufactured in the U.S. or other